Hi guys, this is gsn1.com and I'm here with the unboxing of the long-awaited Xiaomi Mi Note 10. You know, the 108 megapixel phone with a Penta camera at the back side is pretty impressive, and some people in other parts of the world like China know it as the Xiaomi Mi CC9 or CC9 Pro, and here we have it. So I've already played with the phone over the past couple of days, and I noticed something. If you look at the back side, it looks a lot like the Huawei P30 Pro, but somehow, even though it's 10 grams heavier on paper, it feels lighter in the hand. I'm going to fire it up. I also noticed that it has a screen with very narrow edges, narrow bezels, and also curved, as you can see right here. The price tag should be around $600, maybe even less, and this is the first 108 megapixel camera commercially available phone. 5 cameras at the back, a bit of a protrusion for the camera, but that's justified. Also, it has 2 telephoto lenses. It's available in Aurora Green, Glacier White, and Midnight Black. And let's just have a look inside the box. Okay, so first things first, there's another box, which is going to be quite hard to remove from what I can see. Okay, so it's one of those unboxings. Okay, so finally we got it with a bit of brute force, and here we go. Here we should have a case. This is the metal key used to access the slots, and here we have the manuals, user guide and warranty card, and as I promised you, a case made of a flexible material, semi-transparent, with all the needed cutouts. Xiaomi has started offering this very often on its devices. We put this to the side, and then we find the USB-C to USB-A cable, and finally a hefty, truly hefty charger, of which I only heard good things about. It's supposed to be a 30-watt charger, and it's truly big. Only Huawei offered such chargers with the Mate models. It's almost as big as a laptop charger. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is the promise of 5 volts 3 amperes, 9 volts 3 amperes, 12 volts 2.25 amperes, and 20 volts 1.35 amperes. Quite impressive and quite hefty. Now I'm going to focus on the device, because that's the core here. It runs on MIUI 11 applied on top of Android Pie. There's another MIUI 11 out there applied on top of Android 10, but that will be received as an update. Okay, next. Now, if you're wondering about the specs, things are pretty straightforward. So, as I said before, specs are pretty straightforward. We got here a 9.7mm thick phone that weighs 208 grams, and it reminds me of the Huawei P30 Pro quite a bit. At the same time, it comes with a front covered in glass, back covered in glass, and sides made of aluminum. The display you're seeing here is an AMOLED, 6.47 inches, 2340 over 1080 pixels. It's got a teardrop notch at the top side, 19.5:9 aspect and HDR10 support, and we also have a Qualcomm Snapdragon 730G CPU inside, accompanied by 6 gigs of RAM and 128 GB of storage. There's no microSD card slot here, but we do have a humongous battery. This huge battery is a 5260 mAh unit with 30-watt charging. You will get to 50% in a matter of minutes, and then we go to the cameras. Things are pretty simple. At the front side, for the selfies, a 32 megapixel camera, the likes of which I've seen on quite a few Huawei's and Xiaomi's this year. Now, if we go into the back side, things get a bit more complicated. But let me finish the setup. We can see here the fingerprint scanner, which is embedded in the screen, and we should be about done. Okay, and we are done. Now, on the back side, you can see the protrusion of the camera and the promise of 108 megapixels, 5x optical zoom, and a quad LED flash setup. Now, let's talk about the camera. So, first of all, 108 megapixel camera with optical image stabilization and laser focus, checked. We have a 12 megapixel camera in here with 2x optical zoom, and a 5 megapixel camera which offers us 5x optical zoom and 8 megapixel shots via interpolation. There's also a 2 megapixel camera for macro and a 20 megapixel camera for the ultra wide capture. I have a feeling these are the two megapixel and 20 megapixel, but I may be wrong. I'm going to check that out. Okay, so that's it. Also 4K 30 frames per second video capture and 960 frames per second ultra slow motion capture. Dual SIM always on display, and even an audio jack makes the cut at the bottom next to the USB-C port, speaker and a microphone. At the top side, guess what? An infrared emitter is here and another mic. Okay, the setup is continuing, and other things worth mentioning, well, connectivity, Wi-Fi dual band, Bluetooth 5.0, NFC, 4G, USB-C, and still waiting on MIUI 11 to finish. Xiaomi Mi Note 10 is the global version of the Mi CC9. It was launched in November 2019 and it's quite fresh. And the special Pro premium version of this phone was already awarded prizes for its camera from the folks of DxOMark. I'm going to have to test this camera myself before I get convinced of that. That special premium version has a special lens for one of the cameras, so it has an extra. Once again, the camera module, if you look at it closely, similar to the Huawei P30 Pro. Now we're here. This is the camera interface, this is the MIUI 11 interface, and since I mentioned camera interface, let's check it out. Allow, okay, and here we go. We got the macro option, we got the wide angle option, the ultra wide one, regular camera, 2x zoom and 5x optical zoom. Now you can go totally in depth up to 50 times, which is crazy. I've seen that on the Huawei P30 Pro and was pretty impressed, but I've heard that you are going to lose details here much more easily compared to the Huawei phone, and we're still going and going. I can see the fleas on top of fleas, so to say. Okay, we go back here. We also have a 108 megapixel option, and you can take photos at this resolution, at this full resolution, portrait option as well, a night mode, a pro mode, panorama, and then we go back. Also short video and slow motion. Okay, so that's about it. First impression, it feels like a lighter Huawei P30 Pro with a similar design camera and an impressive setup of cameras at the back side. I have to say I'm loving the facade, curved but in a nifty fashion. The phone is a bit slippery, but you have the case to fix that. And for $600, well, I would say you're getting a solid bargain, and I can already predict that these 5 cameras are going to be better than the 5 ones from the Nokia 9 PureView. Well, here's to hoping. We'll be back with a full review very soon. This is gsno.com. Bye bye.